Every lesson is a lyric in the universal song. Oh, the lessons of the journey, I'll weave them in my song.
Hello, welcome to Lessons of the Journey. I'm Coach Jen, here with Coach Nicole. And today we're talking about something that touches just about everyone this time of year. It's the holidays. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. No matter which you celebrate, the season is often described as the most wonderful time of the year. And yeah, it can be magical, for sure. There's tradition, togetherness, the lights, music, food. Definitely a sense of anticipation that only comes once a year. But let's be real. It can also be one of the most stressful times of the year. Family dynamics can flare up, financial pressures start stacking, and everywhere we turn, there's a subtle, or probably not so subtle, message that we're supposed to create the perfect meal, buy the perfect gifts, decorate the perfect home, and somehow keep smiling through it all. It's no wonder so many of us enter November already feeling tense, with calendars packed and budgets stretched thin. That's why in today's episode, we are going deeper. We'll explore why holiday stress shows up in the first place, what's really going on underneath the surface, and most importantly, how to navigate this season in a way that brings more peace, more connection, and more joy to you and your family. So if you've ever thought, there's got to be a better way to do the holidays, this is the conversation for you.
I'm so excited about this, I have to tell you, because I do feel so much of a juxtaposition with the holidays.
Yes.
Like, I have so much love and also so much angst, I guess is the best word for it. Here's the thing. The holidays really do have a way of pulling us back into old roles, almost like muscle memory. You may notice that the moment you walk into your parents' house, you're suddenly the peacekeeper again, or the one expected to organize everything, or maybe the sibling who always gets compared. Psychologists call this family systems theory. It's the idea that when a family gathers, each person tends to slip back into their historic role in the system. No matter how much they've grown or changed, no matter how old they are.
Yeah.
It's why even the most independent adult can feel like a teenager again at the holiday table.
Yes.
On top of that, we're bombarded with expectations. Research in social psychology shows that when our lived experiences don't match our mental images, we experience what's called cognitive dissonance. That uncomfortable gap between what should be and what really is. We've talked about that before. TV shows, movies, and social media give us the Hallmark holiday. Everyone's smiling, houses glowing, tables perfectly set. But real life is much messier. Pies burn, kids fight, relatives disagree, and sometimes there are empty chairs at the table that remind us of loss. That mismatch creates a deep sense of stress and even disappointment, because our brains are wired to notice when reality falls short of expectation. And then there's money. According to the American Psychological Association, about 69% of adults report that financial concerns are a major source of holiday stress. Gifts, travel, and hosting expenses can quickly snowball. At the same time, marketing ramps up, reminding us that love should look like a shiny new toy, a bigger gift, or the latest gadget. Behavioral economists call this the scarcity effect. When we're told there's limited time or limited supply, we feel pressured to buy more than we planned. Instead of a season of peace, the holidays can start to feel like a financial test. When you pull all of this together, family dynamics, impossible expectations, and financial strain, it's no wonder many people feel overwhelmed before the season even begins. One of my favorite movies during the holidays is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. And I think everyone should watch that movie, because if that was our expectation, if we watched that, we'd go, we're doing great.
Yes.
If the turkey's not beef jerky and the Christmas tree hasn't exploded, you're doing awesome.
Oh my gosh, guaranteed at my house, there's some mishap in one of the holidays. We do
Oy.
Thanksgiving and Christmas, and something's always getting burned, or somebody's fingers getting chopped off, or, just one of the many things that could possibly happen on stressful days.
Crazy.
So National Lampoon's is a really good comparison.
They took a movie and made it, for anybody who hasn't seen it, it's literally about Christmas falling apart in every possible way that it can. And I love it because I'm like, it's never going to be that bad. It's kind of like, for those of you that watch Hoarders and then you look around your house and go, I'm doing pretty good.
Doing all right.
Let's keep the expectations a little more realistic. That being said, I do watch the Hallmark movies, but come on, I know they're cheesy and they're BS.
Yeah, goodness.
So let's do a quick reflection pause. Take a moment, check in with yourself. What tends to stress you out most during the holidays? Is it the family dynamics, the financial pressure, the weight of trying to make things perfect? Or maybe it's something else. If you're journaling, write it down. If you're just listening, let the first thought that comes up settle in your awareness. Naming it is the first step in changing how you carry it.
Yes, that is so true. You may notice that Nicole and I like to ask y'all to do your check-ins. This is purposeful. One of the most powerful ways to reduce holiday stress is to step back and get clear on your values. How many times have you heard Nicole and I talk about getting clear on your values? What really matters to you and your immediate family? Psychologists often talk about values as a kind of internal compass. They don't dictate every decision, but they definitely help you orient yourself when you're feeling pulled in too many directions. During the holidays, especially, when there are more invitations, traditions, and obligations that any one person could possibly manage, our values help us decide what is essential and what can be released. For some families, that guiding value might be connection. If so, the focus could shift towards shared meals, conversations, or experiences, rather than chasing the biggest or most expensive gifts. Instead of saying yes to 3 different extended family parties, you might just choose to spend an evening at home with hot cocoa and a favorite holiday movie. For other families, the primary value might be spiritual reflection. That could mean prioritizing time for worship, candle lighting, or quiet rituals, even if it means saying no to an event that doesn't align with that focus. Some families value generosity. That could look like setting aside part of the gift budget to support a local charity, volunteering at a food bank, or creating a tradition where each family member chooses a cause to donate to together. And for many, the most needed value is simply rest. Maybe the piece of life is already so busy that slowing down is the true gift. That could mean carving out a day with no plans, staying in pajamas all day, or letting go of the pressure to decorate every room or attend every event. Getting clear on values also helps you navigate family expectations. Extended relatives may want things done a certain way, bigger meals, more gifts, endless traditions. But if your immediate family requires quality time, you can confidently say no to one more white elephant exchange and yes to an evening playing board games or baking cookies together. You know, our listeners, we really love giving you practical examples. How do you live out some of these values? So you heard me just talk about some of them. Connection is one that was mentioned. Practically, maybe instead of buying separate gifts for everyone, suggest a family adventure fund. Get everybody on board, where contributions go toward a shared outing or experience you'll all remember. Maybe your value is simplicity. Y'all can agree on one gift per person rule, or do a secret Santa to reduce financial strain and focus on the thought, not the quantity. Maybe your value is gratitude. You can start a tradition of sharing gratitude notes around the table. Each person can write something they're thankful for about another person. Maybe your value is growth or reflection. Take time to look back as a family on the past year and share one highlight or lesson learned. That can be really valuable. If your value is service, you can volunteer together, wrap gifts for a local charity, adopt a family in need, or deliver holiday meals.
You know, I'm a big fan of values, so this one is hard for me. I want to talk about budgeting for your holiday because I think for us to do this episode without having this conversation is not doing it justice. We're going to talk a little bit about budgeting for the experiences. So once your values are clear, money decisions start to shift. Instead of being swept up in the marketing rat race where every ad tells you to buy more, give more, spend more, you can choose to invest in what actually matters. And here's the thing. Research in behavioral economics shows that experiences bring more lasting happiness than material items. A new toy or gadget might create a short burst of excitement, but shared experiences like family game nights, volunteering, or going to see holiday lights become stories you retell for years. So how do you make this shift in a practical way? It starts with budgeting on purpose. Step 1, set your holiday spending cap. Decide in advance what you can realistically spend without creating financial stress in January. Do you know that January is the number one time of year that most people are freaking out most about finances? And it's because they spent more on the holidays than they had planned or they thought they were going to spend. Most people don't even plan this. They don't even ask this question. You want to avoid that financial stress in January. So create this number. It is your ceiling, by the way. It's not your goal. For example, maybe you set $400 for all holiday-related costs, gifts, food, travel, and experiences. By naming the number early, you give yourself a boundary that reduces guilt and impulse spending. And remember, ceiling, not goal. In fact, you could even create a $400 ceiling and a $300 goal. How thrifty can we get? Who can we make a gift for? Step 2, divide by values. So once you know your number, allocate it based on what matters most. If your family values connection, maybe 50% of the budget goes towards experiences, 30% towards simple gifts, and 20% toward food or decor. I don't know anyone who includes food and decor in their holiday budget.
Nobody I know. I can't say nobody.
Nobody
if you
I
are, put in our comments. We want to know you.
We do. If your value is generosity, perhaps more of your budget goes toward charitable giving or adopting a family in need. Excellent. I do have an example I'd like to share. There was a father. He never really enjoyed the holidays. To him, they felt commercial, more about shopping and spending than about meeting. So his wife discovered something important. What truly lit him up was helping kids. He was also a big sports guy. So one year, instead of buying him a traditional gift, she and the kids pooled the money that would be for his gift and donated it to a youth sports team in his honor. They even got a team photo and tucked it inside an envelope, which they hung on the Christmas tree. That Christmas morning, he opened the envelope and saw the smiling faces of the kids whose season he had helped support. His reaction was unforgettable. He absolutely loved it. From that moment on, the holidays changed for him.
Aww.
That became a tradition. Every year, his family would secretly choose a different team or group of kids to support, and every Christmas morning, he woke up like a child himself, eager to find out who they had chosen that year. That simple shift turned the holidays into something deeply meaningful, a season of giving that aligned perfectly with his values.
I love that story.
That's what it's supposed to be about.
You know, this really speaks to loving someone the way they want to be loved. And
yes,
we've talked about this in past episodes. This is a real life example of that, tied into a value. I adore it. Thank you for sharing that. That was so good.
I love that one. It always gets me.
Aw. Next, we want to choose experiences first. It increases happy. And that makes so much sense to me. You could list out 2 to 3 experiences you want to create and put those in the budget before you buy gifts. Here's an example. Holiday lights outing. Where I grew up in California, they had Candy Cane Lane, and it was always a thing. Which night are we going to drive down Candy Cane Lane? And they ended up ultimately closing it down because every single house on this block went over and above. They were creating magic scenes out of lights, and that was always a family tradition. So what did that cost us? Gas, hot cocoa, call it $25.
And now, because of social media, you can find these places.
Yes.
If you're part of Nextdoor app, who's got the best lights? What street do I need to go to? We used to love that. Hunting for lights was such a thing for my family.
Absolutely. Yeah, there was also the parade of lights down at our boat harbor. All the boats would decorate themselves and they would just all float by, all lit up. Things like that. All it cost us was the gas to get there and some time. We're talking about experiences. I remember these things from my youth. Make a family baking day. Please make sure sprinkles are involved. What's that going to cost us? $30 maybe? Then we get to sit down together and make cookies or muffins or cupcakes or whatever. A movie night at home. What are we streaming movies that cost us Netflix? What, $15 this month plus some popcorn?
Yeah.
There you go.
And maybe your cookies you made.
Yes. Everything we just gave you, right around $75. There's 3 memories, all for under $100 that you and your family can create together. So step 4, you can also use creative gift strategies. We want to shift the focus from quantity to meaning. One big shared gift. Instead of multiple smaller toys, all that plastic junk that you end up throwing away or it breaks anyway, buy one board game, a puzzle, or a craft set that the entire family can enjoy. You could choose a Secret Santa. Draw names and set a budget, $25, $50, whatever works for you and your family. Limit that so you avoid the endless cycle of buying for everyone. You could also do DIY coupons. That would be awesome. I would love for my kids to do that. Somebody tell them, please. You could
idea.
Create experience coupons for things like a home spa night or a day where the kids choose the menu for dinner or a no chores pass. How cool would that be? I love these ideas.
I think these are great. The most fun, and my kids were older and we were on vacation. So it was my dad's, me, my husband, and my 2 kids. And we do the Secret Santa and we had to get a gift and had to be under $15. You'd be really surprised how hard it is to find something that somebody wants for under $15.
Mm-hmm.
But the cool thing about it was we all had to think. Like, for example, my youngest, Scott, my husband, #1 dad keyring, and it flashed #1 dad. This was 12 years ago. That thing is still flashing.
Nice.
And I always laugh when I take the keys. I'm like, #1 dad. But trying to find something fun and go lower and be like, your cap is $15 and you got to get creative. And some people did give handmade gifts. I thought that was so cute. So
yeah,
just ideas.
You know what else that does? If you set the expectation well before the holidays, you are on the hunt, the eyes open, and that keeps what I think is the experience of the experience in mind longer. I'm hunting for something for everyone in my family for under $15 because I know this is happening when we celebrate our holiday. And then guess what? Stories ensue. Oh my gosh, you'll never get it. I was at this food market and then this other thing happened and then I saw that and I thought my mom would love it and it was on sale and it was $14.99. I was like, that's the Christmas present. Everybody gets a good laugh out of it. These are the kinds of things we're talking about.
So myself and my daughter-in-law love estate sales. What if our rule was it couldn't be new?
Love it.
All right.
Yes.
I'm loving this. I'm going to run this by her. I think we could do it in a couple weeks.
That leads us right into what we have to prepare for, and that is the marketing pressure. Marketers are experts at triggering urgency and guilt. When you see the limited time offer, pause and ask yourself, does this align with my family values and budget? If not, walk away. Studies show that giving yourself even a 24-hour delay on unplanned purchases dramatically reduces overspending.
Use those shopping carts.
Yes.
Put it in there and walk away.
Yeah.
Never buy it now.
It's this limited time offer. Nope. Guarantee you it's going to go on sale 24 hours after that one day.
Yeah.
It's happening. And remember, experience over things. Think about it this way. Your kids may not remember the extra action figure or doll under the tree. Actually, I can almost guarantee you that they will not, even 6 months later. Here's what they will remember. That night you drove around all night in your pajamas, looking at lights and sipping that hot cocoa. The cookie dough fight in the kitchen, or the chocolate mess that was on the person who snuck the chocolate chips in without anybody looking. The year you volunteered at a soup kitchen and talked about gratitude the entire way home. Those moments cost very little, but they do live on in your family for a very long time. So I'd like y'all to reflect. What percentage of your holiday budget do you want to devote to experiences this year? And what is one inexpensive tradition you could plan right now that would fit inside of that budget? Think about that.
One of the most grounding practices during the holidays is to let every family member choose one simple, inexpensive experience for the season. This creates space for everyone's voice to matter, and it shifts the focus from getting to creating together. It doesn't have to be complicated or costly. In fact, the simplest ideas often become the most meaningful. Think about things like baking cookies together and delivering a plate to a neighbor, a snowball fight, or if you don't have snow, a Nerf battle or silly string fight in the backyard, pajama and pancakes breakfast on a random Saturday in December, holiday karaoke night, singing along badly or beautifully to favorite songs, game night by candlelight with hot cocoa, driving to look at lights in your neighborhood, maybe rating your favorites with awards, best classic, best crazy, best inflatable. Great idea.
Yeah.
Craft night, making homemade ornaments or cards. An acts of kindness day where the family brainstorms small ways to give back, paying for someone's coffee, writing thank you notes, helping at a food pantry. The power of this practice is that it gives every person, from the youngest kid to the quietest teen to the adults, a chance to shape the season. And often those small requests ends up becoming the stories everyone retells. For example, the child who always picked watch Home Alone in PJs may grow up and still insist on it years later, and suddenly it's a non-negotiable family classic. Over time, these shared choices become traditions, and traditions become anchors, reminding that the season is about belonging and joy, not perfection or pressure. Jen, do you have a story, personal, to share about what your family might choose this year or has done in past years?
Yes, I do. Actually, this has been discussed over the course of the entire year between me and Paul after last year, where I said, I don't want to be buying $1,000 worth of toys that we're throwing away in the next 6 months. This is an actual conversation inside my house. And I was chatting with a girlfriend of mine, and she said, as the kids got older, we just wanted to do stuff with them because it didn't mean anything to wake up to socks and underwear and plastic shit anymore. We wanted to create family memories. And I said, I want to do that. She was like, start now. So that's been the conversation. This year, we are not doing a plastic shit Christmas. We are doing an experience Christmas. And it's been interesting as things have shifted that I've already decided what I want to do. I've thrown it out to the family, and that's what we're going to do. There's a very fun boat here where we live, and it's got some water slides and a high dive, and it goes down to one of the most beautiful places on earth. And we're going to spend some part of that holiday on that boat. It's not inexpensive, but since we're not buying plastic stuff, then the money is going toward that experience. And that will be the first time that our family will be on a boat together.
Oh.
That the kids will be old enough. And here in Hawaii, winter is the best time. So we get to jump in the ocean around Christmas. That is going to be the start of the rest of our holiday experiences. From here on out, we will do experiences because that is what I would like to create inside of my family. And that clearly being a value of connection.
That's beautiful. I love that. Good for you for thinking about it and coming up with something. I want to share one thing that my family changed as a tradition, and it was actually Thanksgiving. We used to do the traditional, we bake the meal, we do the thing. But before my father passed, there was a year we were living in California, but we were in Sedona for Thanksgiving. And my dad and I, we talked and we said, let's not cook. And we did the pickup meal at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Because the year before, he said, I just worked for 8 hours and we spent 30 minutes eating.
Yep. We had the same conversation after Thanksgiving last year.
So we picked up this meal. We brought it home. We had the turkey, all the fixins. We still had made a couple pies. It was wonderful. Before we picked up the meal, we went on a hike in Sedona, Arizona, which if anybody hasn't seen it, it's stunning. It's a beautiful place. It's all red rocks. So we go for a hike for an hour and a half. Then we go pick up our meal. We go home, we eat. My dad goes, this is the best meal ever. And I didn't have to make any of it.
Yes.
Change it up. See what you like. It's okay to change it up.
You mentioned it earlier at the beginning. It's those family systems. Our parents grew up inside of a house where a very traditional type of thing was almost required. So they've just carried that into our lives. And here we are in this generation going, I don't want to cook for 8 hours to spend 30 minutes eating, to clean up for another 2 hours. I'm the one doing it. Y'all are over there fighting about who gets the remote. I cook because I love my family, but guess what? I'd rather talk with them. And why do I do it? Because my mom did it. And why did my mom do it? Because that's what was required. And no, don't want to do it anymore. I love that, Nicole. You got to spend it the way you wanted to spend it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
No one was in the kitchen. We were all hiking.
Love it.
Make it what you want it to be. Side note, I'd be okay if it was just a relish tray and dessert. I really could skip the meal of Thanksgiving in the middle. It's not my favorite part. I like the cheese and crackers and all the hors d'oeuvres, and then I like the dessert.
I love Thanksgiving food. But what cracks me up is every time I lay it out, it's mostly brown. Everything on the table is brown. There's the obligatory green bean casserole and then some cranberries. So you have green and red, and then everything else is brown. It's all the same, but Thanksgiving leftovers, I live for.
There you go. And I know a lot of people love those.
Yeah. But we also decided last year, why does turkey have to be reserved only for Thanksgiving? So we bought a couple of turkeys and put them in the deep freezer. Now, a few times a year, I will roast a turkey because I love roast turkey. We'll just have roast turkey sandwiches for ever. We don't save it for Thanksgiving. So it's not this super extra special necessary thing anymore. It's we like the food, we eat the food when we want to eat the food.
There you go.
The point here is you get to decide. Sit down together with the people that matter and come up with whatever it needs to look like for y'all to be happy through.
Absolutely. So ask yourself, what's one simple, inexpensive tradition my family could create together this year? Write it down or share it with the people you love.
Yeah. I really like that prompt too, because I tell you what, you and I have talked about the way people want to be loved, what are our love languages and the sub-love languages. You ask people in your family and you listen to their answers, guarantee you're going to get some insight on who they are and what they want to feel loved. So this is some super secret way of gathering information and creating memories. You're welcome from Nicole and Jen.
We're here for you.
Let's talk about some practical ways to handle that holiday stress, because no matter how much you plan, it always seems to show up. The good news is that a few intentional practices can completely change how you experience the season. First, set boundaries. Remember, boundaries are not walls. They're more like gates. They help you decide what comes in and what stays out. For example, maybe you choose to attend only 1 or 2 big gatherings instead of trying to say yes to everything. Or you politely steer away from conversations you know will be tense, like politics or past disagreements. You might even decide not to participate in every gift exchange if your budget or energy is stretched. Science shows that people who set and maintain boundaries report lower stress and greater life satisfaction. So this isn't just about saying no. It's about protecting your time, energy, and joy. Next, take micro breaks. Holidays are full of people, noise, activity, and that can overwhelm your nervous system. Even just a few minutes of intentional pause can reset things. You can step outside for fresh air between dinner and dessert, take a short walk after a big meal, or find a quiet corner to do a quick breathing exercise. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for, hold for. We call that box breathing. You can do that on a bathroom break. Repeat it a few times. Research shows that these small recovery moments actually reduce stress hormones and help your body handle more over the season. Think of it as hitting a mini reset button. Then there's reframing perfection. One of the biggest traps is chasing the quote perfect holiday we see everywhere. Magazines spread, social medias, those holiday movies. But the truth is, the imperfect moments are often the most memorable. Burns cookies, a tree that falls over, a meal that's a little or very much late. These are the stories you'll laugh about for years. Psychologists call this the positivity bias of memory. Over time, we remember those messy, imperfect moments more fondly than the flawless ones. So instead of stressing when things go sideways, try saying to yourself, this is part of the real story we'll laugh about later. I'm going to tell you 2 of mine. They both happen to be Thanksgiving. Number 1, Jen burns the marshmallows. So I do this really amazing yam, sweet potato, and I'm like, oh, the marshmallows, you got to toast them and get them a little melty. And we had one of those 2 burner ovens. Well, something was in the bottom one, either warming or still cooking. And so I'm like, oh, I'm going to toast the marshmallows. So I put the thing in and I'm like, we're just going to melt them and it's going on the table. So I put it on broil and I'm like, 2 minutes, it's going to be melted. Well, guess who didn't set a timer for 2 minutes? Walked away, forgot about them because, holiday stress, and came back to a fire in the top oven. That was this girl. Burnt everything. Fire right before Thanksgiving dinner. In the moment, oh my God, how could you do that? Stressful. Guess what comes up every year now? Every year.
Sure.
Story number 2. Another Jen moment. This is when I used to drink beer. Somebody poured some fat in one of my beer bottles. I would get this very special beer only coming out in the holidays. And somebody took an empty beer bottle of mine, put some fat in it, I think from maybe cooking the turkey. And because, you throw the fat out later. So instead of having grease out on the countertop in a glass bottle, they just put it in the refrigerator. Unbeknownst to Jen, I go to the refrigerator and see my beer bottle and go, oh, I must have left that in there. Because again, who remembers what happens 5 minutes before on Thanksgiving? I grab the beer, I take a drink.
That's gross.
It's disgusting. But guess what? We talk about every year. So that's one of those never perfect kind of moments.
Never.
So again, in the moment, it was awful. And this is part of the real story we will laugh about later. And we do, finally, build rituals of regulation. These are small, intentional practices that keep you grounded throughout the season. Maybe it's a 2-minute gratitude pause in the morning, lighting a candle and breathing before guests arrive, or taking an evening walk after a busy day. Even tiny rituals can give your brain a sense of predictability and control. And research shows that predictability itself reduces stress. The key is to notice what triggers stress for you and then pair it with one of these tools. Take a moment and think about one area of holiday stress you want to approach differently this year. Could a boundary help? Could a micro break give you some space? Could a reframe lighten the pressure? Could a ritual keep you grounded? I want you to picture yourself using just one of these tools in a real holiday scenario and notice how it changes your experience.
These are so important. I would actually add, stick with the rituals you have before the holidays that keep you centered and grounded. Mm-hmm. In my brain, I'm thinking, I still have to go to the gym. If the gym's open and my classes are happening, I'm there because that's the way I stay grounded. I have to journal in the morning, even if all the other holiday stuff is happening, because it's part of what I do to keep me grounded. Remember to not let those things vanish because of the busyness of the holidays.
That is such a good point. The first thing we abandon is the things we do for ourselves because we find ourselves so busy doing other things. I love that point, that you are spot on with that. Just maintain status quo will keep your brain in some sort of flow.
And if you're not somebody who schedules massages, but you like them and they relax you, schedule something in December. Schedule November. Schedule the week after Thanksgiving. Do that for yourself. That's so important.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about anticipatory stress and emotional triggers. You know how sometimes you start feeling stressed about the holidays weeks before they even get here? That's actually called anticipatory stress. Your brain starts predicting all the conflicts, the deadlines, or the money worries, and suddenly you're tense before you even wrap a single gift. A big part of this comes from our memories and how the holidays have changed over time. Maybe someone we loved isn't at the table anymore, or the traditions we remember from childhood don't feel quite as magical now. Here's the thing. Our brains have a way of polishing over the messy parts of the past. We remember the holidays as perfect, even if things were burned. And even if the reality was long waits, family arguments. So when the season rolls around, those perfect memories can make the present feel overwhelming or even disappointing. One way to handle this is just to notice it. Say to yourself, I'm feeling sad or anxious because this reminds me of someone I've lost or of how things used to be. Naming it actually helps your brain calm down. Another way is to honor what's gone while creating what's new. You might light a candle for someone you miss, share a memory at the table, or start a small new tradition that fits your current life, like a quiet morning walk, a family playlist, I love that idea, or a volunteer activity together. And finally, staying grounded in the present. Instead of trying to recreate a perfect past, focus on what matters right now. If not making Thanksgiving dinner is the way it needs to go right now, do it. Because connection, laughter, and shared moments, even the imperfect things, the cookies that burned, a missing guest, or a snowstorm that throws everything off, can become part of the stories you'll laugh about for years to come. I do have to say, I don't recommend drinking the grease out of the beer bottle. That just is...
P.S. If y'all are going to use somebody's beer bottle, put the grease in, let them know. Rude.
The holidays may no longer be as picture perfect as your memory paints them. But by acknowledging loss, embracing change, and creating intentional rituals, you can still make the season meaningful, grounding, and joyful.
Yes. And we want that for you. The holidays don't have to feel like a stress marathon, and they don't have to live up to anyone else's version of perfect. When you get clear on your values, when you make intentional choices about how to spend your time and money, and focus on shared experiences that matter to you and your family, you open the door to a season that feels lighter, more joyful, and deeply meaningful. This year, give yourself permission to release what doesn't serve you. The comparisons, the pressure to do it all, the old expectations that leave you drained, and instead embrace what does serve you. That might mean creating a new tradition or simply taking a few micro breaks when you feel yourself getting tense. Remember, holidays are more than a calendar or a checklist. They're a chance to connect, to reflect, and to create memories that last far beyond the season. Those imperfect moments, the cookies that burn, the conversations that get a little awkward, the laughs and the chaos, they're often the ones we carry with us and cherish the most. As you move through this season, notice the small things that bring you joy, the smiles, the shared stories, the quiet pauses, the rituals that ground you. These are the things that transform ordinary days into meaningful experiences.
I think you said that wrong. It's not the cookies that burned. It's the marshmallows that burned.
It's the
Jen.
marshmallows usually. Yes. Don't put it on broil. Who thought of that?
You wanted it done
quick. It's gotta be quick.
Been there, done that. Love Alexa for that. I love talking about this and addressing this and giving people action steps. So what are your takeaways, Jen?
My takeaways are this. We often project our version of what it, quote, should look like onto everyone around us, thinking that they think the same thing. When more often than not, if a simple conversation were had, we would find that spending the money and doing all the things really isn't primary in the people who love us. And they want more of who we are, our time, our energy, our kindness, our compassion, the fun memories, because I've done that. I've thought they expect this, so I should X.
Yeah.
When I just made that up. We don't have to make this up anymore. We're giving you permission to say, hey, you guys, let's have this conversation and go from there. That's my takeaway. You don't have to make it look like the way you think they think it should look. What mental gymnastics is that? We all do it.
We absolutely do. I think there's a loss of focus through the holidays sometimes about what is really important and the connection, the meeting with people. I'm a serial recovering perfectionist. So for me, it's letting people into my home when it's not perfect, but still having a good time with them and knowing that if they love me, it's not going to matter. And I think what you said was beautiful. What do people value? What do they want it to look like? I'm excited about this season because we are going to be working on, as a family, at least I hope, if everyone agrees, everyone gets to choose a day. And we're going to do whatever that person wants for the day.
Love it.
I might be playing pickleball all day in Christmas gear. I don't know what's going to happen.
I love it.
I probably will have to go swing for a few hours with a 3-year-old. I don't know what they're going to choose, but let them choose it.
Yeah.
I think it would be so cool if the whole family just has to do whatever that person wants for that day. And just create these memories. Having 6 days together as a family. How cool is that? I love that idea.
Oh, how special.
And I love that you said budget or energy, because we think about draining our budget, but we don't think about draining our energy. I wish we would protect both. I think it's so important. And micro breaks. How smart is that? Just go outside and walk. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go take a walk.
Yeah.
It's so grounding to get out in nature. I love that.
Yeah. Good.
It's a good one.
Hopefully it helps as we move into the season.
It's all we can hope for.
Yeah. All right. Question time. Nicole, when do you feel the most cringe?
I'm going to go with what just popped right into my head. It's when I say something stupid or a little too aggressive for the personality I'm dealing with. And I go, oh, I wish I was a fisherman. Can I reel that one right back in? And sometimes I do have the wherewithal to say, oh, I need to reel that one right back in. And sometimes I don't. I just sit there in like my cringe frozen moment and go, okay, I'm going to beat myself up for this one for the next couple of days. And then if I care about that person, I usually pick up the phone and go, I was an ass, sorry. So I do like to make it better, but that's probably my most cringe moments is when I just open mouth, insert foot. Sometimes I just say what's going on in this brain and I need a little filter sometimes.
I have this like out of body, like where I'm watching myself be awful in that moment.
Yeah.
And you're like, stop, but you can't stop.
Yeah. So I had a moment once, I'll tell you this story because it rolls along right with this. And I'm on a field trip with one of my kids. I think my oldest was maybe 11. So we're talking 20 years ago. And I was sitting on a bench and it was me and my neighbor. And then on the other side of me was this woman who looked 9 months pregnant. I said, when are you due? And she goes, I'm not pregnant. And I literally just turned my head to my friend and went, I just did that, didn't I? And she went, yup. In my defense, she actually had a tumor. She wasn't a heavy woman. She said, people think I'm pregnant a lot because I have a tumor. I've never asked another person when they're due, ever again. Because once you do that, you just get like the whole red face and you get hot and you just feel like the most shameful idiot on the planet. I just turned to my friend and went, I just did that, didn't I? And she went, yep, you did. Thanks for the support. I'm like, I'm so sorry. She's like, it's okay. I have a tumor. She actually had a tumor after her son was born. So yeah, but that was my moment. But yeah, it's usually me saying something stupid and putting my foot in my mouth. So there you have it.
We've all been there, Nicole.
We've all been there. Yes, we've all done that. Yeah, I don't ask that question anymore. I used to have the rule of not asking that question unless they were obviously pregnant. Now I'm like, never. I will never say that to a soul. Unless you tell me you're pregnant, I will not ask you.
Well, tumors excluded, right? That's
yeah, it was an odd situation.
I hear ya. Yeah, we've all been there. In my very young days, I was asked, "Oh, when are you due?"
Yeah, sorry.
And here's me like looking down at my stomach, like, what about me right now makes it? And in my early, when children were not even on the scope, I'd be like, why do you think I'm pregnant?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. I used to work at a bank and it was like spring. And so they had stickers on the windows and there was like a crane, a bird behind me. And the lady was like, I thought it was a stork. I thought that was a stork. I thought that they were, and I'm so sorry. And she was like, that red, and I was like,
oh yeah.
It's not a stork. I was sitting behind a desk.
She couldn't even see your stomach.
Couldn't even see me. She's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, no, we've been on both sides of it.
That's not a good one. We don't like that one. All right. Here's your question. How do news articles affect your daily life?
Well, first and foremost, read the article before you create an assumption about what the title of the article means. Very often, we'll see the title of an article and it is slightly misleading, and we will assume that we know everything that is happening in the world based on a 6-word sentence that is the title of an article. So
isn't that the age we're living in? I've seen your Facebook profile. I know every single thing about you. Even though you're 55 years old and I never knew you until 2 weeks ago, but I know every single thing about you.
Yes. Yes. You know, honestly, upon reading said news article, they affect me differently. It very much, number one, depends on the theme. This is the way I go. I read the title and I go, do I want to read this article? And if the answer is no, I don't then assume that I know what the article is about because I did not read it. So there could be no way that I could go on social media and comment as if I know exactly what was being said in
But that's
article.
what social media is for, Jen. It's for uninformed people just making shit up.
How dare I just want to know? That being said, if I do decide to read the article, depending upon what it's talking about, right? Very often I'll read things that I think can help me. If I'm like, oh, this article is going to have some really good information about something about my kids or how I might be able to serve my kids or help my kids or how I might be able to be a better parent or anything like that. So most of the time I catalog them. If it's a political or a religious or anything like that, I really try to take it with a grain of salt. I'm an all-around perspective kind of person, so I don't create opinions based on one thing. I don't think that's fair to anyone or anything. So in those types of situations, I really just catalog it, kind of a grain of salt kind of thing. Like, oh, this is an interesting perspective. I really, in those types of themes, call it a perspective. It's never truth. It is one person's opinion of a thing because that one person wrote the article and there is bias coming from all of us. So it's a cataloging kind of thing. Sometimes I'll recall like, oh, my kid is acting this way. I remember I read this article that said, do this instead of this. So I'll try it. It'll be a catalog kind of thing. I very much utilize what I call the shelf. I have this imaginary shelf and I'll consume information and I'll be like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I don't need it right now. I'm going to go ahead and put it on my shelf. It's an open face shelf. I can see all of the things on my shelf. If such time that I need to pull that thing off the shelf, I'll go back and I'll use it. Now, I do save things sometimes, like, oh, I'm going to go look at that again. Rarely do I go back and look at them again, as we have talked about. But they're all on the shelf. I know that there are some things that are there. How do they affect me was the question? Minimally, quite honestly. Because I have tools and skills that have been created over time, it really is the understanding of perspective. And if it can serve me in the future, I try to keep it in the back of my mind. And if it's not anything, I really try to just, okay, that was interesting and move right along.
That sounds very healthy. All right. We'd love to hear what values you're prioritizing this year or the experiences your family is choosing together. Share them with us via Instagram or Facebook. Your stories might inspire someone else to shift their holiday season toward more presence, peace, and connection. So as you move forward, carry this with you. The holidays can be a season of reflection, laughter, and heartfelt connection, They can be a time where you show up fully, guided by what truly matters, and leave behind what doesn't. If you know someone who could use a little extra calm and joy this holiday season, share this episode with them so they can focus on what truly matters and enjoy the season too. From all of us here at Lessons of the Journey, we wish you a holiday season filled with calm, with presence, with love, and with moments that make your heart feel full.
Yay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Write your lives with passion, let your spirit freely roam. The lessons of your journey will lead you safe.